We are continuing to build a better wall across the nation by simplifying the DensElement barrier system installation process. Further evolving the envelope with our new Georgia-Pacific DensDefy Liquid Flashing. Take the smarter sheathing route for easy installation that will take you from design to constructability. DensElement barrier system with AquaCore technology transforms the entire gypsum sheathing into a WRB AB by integrating the fiberglass mat to form a hydrophobic, monolithic surface that blocks bulk water and allows vapor to pass through. Let's talk about how to install this smarter WRB AB system. Before starting any construction project, keep safety top of mind. Always wear your personal protective equipment, or PPE, to prevent any on-site hazards. To get started, you'll need the following tools to complete this installation: DensDefy Liquid Flashing Sausage, Sausage Applicator Gun, Spreading Tool, Mill Gauge, Chip Brush, Protective Gloves, and Safety Glasses. First, cut the DensElement sheathing panel to the appropriate size. Fasten the panel to the framing using the proper fastener and spacing for the wall assembly. For more information on fastener spacing requirements, refer to the installation guidelines on denselement.com. Panels should have both offset joints and staggered joints. Horizontal is shown here, but vertical orientation can also be used. Next, ensure the butt joints are tight. For sheathing joints, apply DensDefy Liquid Flashing over the joint in a zigzag or ribbon pattern. The pattern chosen should be based on the installer's preference. Using the spreading tool, coat the liquid flashing evenly over the DensElement sheathing joint. A minimum of 1 inch of liquid flashing is required on both sides of the joint to achieve a minimum wet mill thickness of 16 mils. Feel free to reference the installation guidelines on denselement.com for appropriate lapping on either side of the joints. Next, let's spot the fasteners. The DensElement sheathing shown here was attached to the framing using typical exterior gypsum sheathing fasteners. Simply spot each fastener head with DensDefy Liquid Flashing used for the joints, and wipe each fastener with a spreader tool. Be sure to leave a minimum wet mill thickness of 16 mils over the entire fastener. Once complete, go back and inspect for pinholes and voids. Now, let's move on to vertical corners. At the point where DensElement sheathing meets at the corner, seal it like a joint or seam. Apply liquid flashing over each side of the corner in a zigzag or ribbon pattern. This should be done whether the corner is inside or outside. Similar to joints, use the spreader tool and distribute the flashing evenly over the corner. Apply a minimum of 2 inches of liquid flashing on each side. For an offset corner, a bead should be applied in the void between the corners. Apply at a rate to achieve a minimum wet mill thickness of 16 mils over the corner area. Now let's walk through how to accommodate rough openings like windows and doors. To seal windows and doors properly, rasp the board edges. Clean the opening to remove any dust, debris, or bond-inhibiting materials. Apply a bead of DensDefy Liquid Flashing into the entire width of the inside, outside, tight, and offset corners of your opening. Ensure that a connection is made to the interior air seal to the window or door. The same applies for any rough opening in a project. Apply DensDefy Liquid Flashing over and adjacent to the sill, jamb, and header in a zigzag or ribbon pattern. Using the spreader tool, apply the liquid flashing over the sill, jamb, and header, a minimum of 2 inches onto the DensElement sheathing surface, adjacent to the rough opening, to achieve a minimum wet mill thickness of 16 mils. For woodbuck windows, treat the liquid flashing 2 inches onto adjacent sheathing, and treat the rough opening framing past the window's interior air seal. Use a wet mill gauge to verify a minimum 16 wet mill thickness is achieved. Check for pinholes and voids prior to installing the window. For flanged windows, let the DensDefy Liquid Flashing cure, and then set the window in liquid flashing 1 inch over the window flange and 1 inch onto the sheathing. Treat the window flange around tops and sides only. Avoid treating the sill flange because it should be left open for drainage. For any questions, check with the window manufacturer for installation requirements. Ensure that pipes, electrical boxes, and other penetrations should be properly sealed. For fire-rated construction, gaps should be limited to 1/8 of an inch or less. If there is a gap between the sheathing and the pipe, install a backer rod to form a back dam. Once the penetration is secure, apply a thick bead of liquid flashing around the entire penetration. Using your tool, feather and completely seal the joint around the penetration. DensDefy Liquid Flashing should extend 1 inch onto the sheathing adjacent to the penetration, as well as 1 inch onto the pipe or electrical box. Lastly, let's take a look at how to seal material transitions. Where the DensElement sheathing abuts a dissimilar material, a slight gap may exist. For gaps greater than 1/4 inch, install a backer rod to form a back dam. For fire-rated assemblies, gaps should be limited to 1/8 of an inch or less. Apply liquid flashing over the material transition joint in a zigzag or ribbon pattern. Use the tool to spread the flashing evenly over the DensElement sheathing joint until a minimum wet mill thickness of 16 mils over the entire material transition joint has been achieved. For gaps greater than 1/4 inch in places such as material transitions, simply use a backer rod to serve as a back dam back for the application of the liquid flashing. All of the products showcased in this video each have their own installation limitations per manufacturer's instructions. Please see the manufacturer's installation guidelines for specific references. For more information on DensElement barrier system using DensDefy Liquid Flashing, please visit densdefy.com.